Hey, it's another late episode of we're going to look at the Heurmann murder trial, and I'm your great host, fair host, Glenn Fleetwood, and I'm a criminal defense lawyer with 33 years of experience behind me, having done, I can't remember how many murder trials, but I don't think that many. I think 3. And I should point out that one of those was a murder with a car. In other words, my client had been drunk driving, and he hit somebody in a crosswalk and mowed them down, and they died. And that's very sad, of course. But anyway, what we were talking about last time, and I'm hoping somebody's listening to this that can fill me in, we were trying to figure out, is Rex Heurmann, is he in any way related to the deaths of the prostitutes in Las Vegas? Now, some people already have their hands up and saying, well, the Gilgo Beach suspect, that's Rex, the Gilgo Beach suspect had a timeshare in Las Vegas. And then the smarter kid in class was saying, he had 2 timeshares. Okay. But what we had to do was dig and find out, well, what were the dates that the women were dumped, and what were the dates that Rex had timeshares in Las Vegas? You with me? Okay. So we've done that. I don't know if anybody else has done that, but we've done that. And the 4 of the women who came to the sad end that we're talking about, it was between 2003 and 2006. Now, 4 of them, turns out there's a total of 5, but 4 of them were dumped off of remote roadways, and several were wrapped in a muslin-type cloth. Now, everybody knows that Rex's alleged victims were also tied in a burlap. What is the reason for that? And why would it be a different cloth for these women? But that is the cloth on these women is the reason that the Las Vegas sheriffs have suspect that the murders are all related. And as I said, there's 5 of them, but there are 4 of them that took place between 2003 and 2006. Well, how does that match up with Rex? When was Rex in Las Vegas? Well, we had somebody look at the property records in City Hall, and a lot of people don't know this, but timeshares are actually property interest. They're not just a little rental thing that you do. The timeshares actually are a interest in real estate, and so have to be recorded. So the recorded interest in the 2 timeshares by Rex, hold on, 2004. Okay, so if one woman went missing in 2003, that would tend to show a little bit that was not Rex. On the other hand, who knows if Rex went out to Las Vegas in 2003 to scout the area, see, honey, I'm going to go look and see if we could afford a timeshare there. That way you could gamble and I could stay home. How do you know he wasn't in Las Vegas? So I'm sure that's what the police are doing right now, if they haven't done it already. But they actually started living there part-time in a timeshare in 2004, which really, that's pretty good. If we were on CSI or one of those shows, that would get him looked at by the police. They would jump in the car and start driving over there. So one of the things that somebody shared with me was the Las Vegas victims' autopsy reports. And what was done is we had them compared to the Gilgo Beach victims. Okay, you understand that, right? So we got the Las Vegas victims' autopsy reports, and we had them compared to the women that were killed in Gilgo Beach, of which Mr. Heurmann, yeah, I know you know. Okay, so one of the first women victims was called Victoria. Let's see. What do we got? I've got her name right here. Victoria Kamara. So I've got her death, according to the documents here, through the Freedom of Information, is she was killed by strangulation. Okay. So her face is not one you've seen on TV before. Very cute little girl. Probably not a girl. Probably she should be called a woman, but she was very cute. And so 59-year-old Rex Heurmann is a suspected killer in the cases of the women in Gilgo Beach. But the Las Vegas Police Department are investigating Victoria Kamara's death as possibly the work of Rex Heurmann. Now, Victoria, she was a teenage mother from New Jersey, and her body was found near Boulder City. And what happened was, about 20 years ago, a gravel truck driver was driving along and somehow made a gruesome discovery along a deserted stretch of US 95. Always suspicious when somebody who's driving a truck just happens to find something by the side of the road that you couldn't see if you were in the passenger seat looking for it, and he's driving down the road and he sees it. Okay. But the truck driver says she was just thrown like a piece of trash in the desert. And that's what Kayla Donaldson, the victim's first cousin and childhood best friend, said. You first hear it, it's unbelievable, it feels like a Lifetime movie. So that's not what the truck driver said. That's what Kayla Donaldson said. The body did belong, as we're saying, to Victoria Kamara. And her friend said she was a very beautiful person, very artistic. She loved makeup. She loved building things. She played with Legos. A little old for Legos. They had a relationship where actually Kamara was going to help Donaldson to escape, Kayla Donaldson, from Donaldson's life of brutality and beatings. But Kamara turned out to be not able to help anybody, even herself. So what Donaldson said was that she didn't have a stable environment from day one. So in her first interview since Victoria's murder 20 years ago, Donaldson revealed that her cousin turned to prostitution after becoming a single teenage mom, and she had to struggle to feed herself and her baby. And Kayla said she just did what she had to do to survive, and unfortunately that's what she was doing. She believes that Kamara's case was set aside by Las Vegas PD, as usual, because of the nature of the killing, that it's a sex worker. But the case is back from the cold case files because Rex Heurmann prompted police to take a long look at the, can we call it, dormant investigation into Kamara's death? Okay. Rex Heurmann has ties to Las Vegas. We know that. The 59-year-old architect, he was arrested and charged 2 weeks ago. In a statement to Channel 13, the Metropolitan Police Department confirmed that it is looking into the investigation between Heurmann and Las Vegas. And Las Vegas, LVPD say as a result, they're currently reviewing unsolved cases to see if he has any involvement. Now, the timeshare that they owned was at the Club des Soleil, I like that name, on Tropicana Avenue and Lindell Road. So the property records show that they bought it for only $17,000 in 2005, and we'll get back to that. But other people tell us that Las Vegas police have a number of cold cases involving sex workers. The investigation, one TV station is doing an investigation as to how many unsolved crimes of prostitutes there are. Las Vegas police will not discuss it with anybody, including me, so all right, that's okay. The Heurmann family, or really just he and his wife, I should say, have a second timeshare in Las Vegas. A search of that property shows that Heurmann and his wife sold a property for $51,000 to Vacation Resorts, but it's not clear which. The paperwork is missing, so we're not sure if that's the $17,000 one or another one that they bought. But they sold one to Wyndham Vacation Resorts for $51,000. So if that's the $17,000 one, he did real good. Most people don't make money on timeshares. Now, I want to let you know something. I should just momentarily tell you that I'd always heard really scary stories about timeshares, about how they get you into a room and they lock you down and there's no way to leave and there's no water to drink and they give you the hard pitch, you better friggin' buy it or you're going to be in, your last chance, and we're not going to open the doors unless you do it. Just really, they have big guys that are scary and all that. So I'd always been very scared to do one, but I decided to do one just a week ago. Now, this had nothing to do with Heurmann or the podcast Heurmann Murder Trial, which you're listening to. It had nothing to do with that, but I wanted to just see what was it like to go to one of these. Now, let me give you the positive. The positive was this place they had opportunities to rent in every friggin' city. I mean, if it works, it's a great deal because it says, well, you can use our apartments that we have here, right here in Venice, and we have some right here in Florence. These are very nice apartments. And you can have, if you're not there, if you'd rather go to London, we have 8 two-bedroom apartments, and we have 12 three-bedroom apartments there. You can have your choice of those. And all you have to do is pay us every year. I've forgotten the amount. Oh, no, you had to pay. That's it. You had to pay up front. It was $50,000. So you could either put $8,000 down and then pay $10,000 a year in payments, or you could pay $50,000 cash. And I got to tell you, I was considering giving him the $50,000 cash. As I told you, or you might know, my mom just passed away. She left me that much in cash. So, hey. Well, it sounded like a good deal to me. And the seller, what would you call it? The salesperson. There were actually 2. There was one woman who was taking care of me. And then when she sniffed that I was in, that I think I'm going to go for this, she called for her manager, a man, to put the thumb screws to me. But he was not there, so she got a woman to come in and help her to try to close the deal. Now, here's what happened. It got very interesting. The woman said that to show me how honest the woman is, she's just going to give me a 3-night stay. In other words, I didn't mention this, but I had already paid $200 towards a great deal, a $300 4 days, 3 nights stay. And I'd already paid $200 towards it. I only had to pay $100 more. And I told them that as we were sitting going over all of the different great places there were and how beautiful they were. And the higher up woman said, "Don't worry about that. Just do not worry." And she scratched out. She said, "That's $749 is what that usually costs for 4 days and 3 nights. Here." And she scratched it out. And she said, "It's yours. You can have it. I'm giving it to you to show you how honest we are. I'm giving you a $749 stay vacation. It's yours." Okay? Yeah. Yeah, that's real okay. So that's how she showed me that they were honest, and they told me not to worry about anything else. What do you do when someone says, "Hey, you know what? Don't worry about the rest"? What do? You immediately stop and start reversing the screws and backing out. So, okay, I said, okay, let's start looking into this now. And I got out my checks. And I showed them that I had my checks with me. I brought my checkbook, and I had my check out, and I was going to write her a check for $48,000. That's what it cost. And I just said, I want to be in on that, because these were beautiful homes in beautiful locations. Yes, there was a monthly fee that you paid every month to them to cover the housekeeping and all that kind of stuff. But you could go and stay there for, let's say, 2 weeks in, let's say, Venice, and stay there for maybe $300 or $400. While normally, if you want to stay 2 weeks in Venice in a nice hotel, that's going to run you $3,000. So, okay, so I got my pen is in my right hand, and my checks are in the left hand. And I said, you know what? There's just one thing I want to do. I'm ready to go. This sounds really good. I just want to see it work. I said, what? What did you say, motherfucker? I just want to see it work. What are you talking about, dude? You lose me a fucking head. No, I just want to see it work. That's all. I'm sure it works, right? This isn't a scam. No, it's not. Well, then I want to see it work. Okay? So I said, give me the list of places again. Now, remember, at this time, I was out in the one in the desert near Palm Springs. Why are you near Palm Springs in a heat wave? Well, because in a heat wave, I'm not going out. I'm not going out of the hotel room. I'm staying in the hotel. Or if I'm staying in a hotel room, I don't care what the weather is outside. I only care how nice it is inside, and, of course, what it costs. Well, as you could figure out, there are tremendous deals right now in the desert because nobody wants to be here. So you can find very nice hotel rooms for $100 a night, and really nice bungalow, 2 bedrooms, kitchen, laundry room, everything for $200 a night. So I like that a lot better than going to the beach, where it would be $500 or $600 a night and 80 or 90 degrees outside, so that I wouldn't be going outside anyway. So this is where I am until I'm going to go looking for a house somewhere. But I start to get ready to look for a house, and I say, wait a minute, if I rent a house today, my electricity bill is going to be $2,000 for the next 2 months. So that kind of keeps me in the hotel where I don't have an electric bill. So the wonderfully nice lady at the timeshare says to me, yeah, well, you know what? We can't do that. You know why? Because we can only rent a place to an actual owner of a timeshare. You have to actually have a share here in order to rent. And I said, I'm not looking to rent a place. Let's pretend. Let's pretend we're renting a place and see if we could have rented it if I was a member. So that goes by for about 30 seconds, and they say the exact same thing. They say, oh, well, we would, but we can't do that because you're not a member. If you're not a member, we can't rent you a place. And I said, I just told you, you're not renting me a place. We're going to pretend just to see if it would go through. And if it says, yes, you have got that, you can rent that apartment, condo, then I said, then you've got yourself a deal. And I'm going to fill out this check for $56,000. So they tried one more misinterpretation where they said, well, we can't do that because you're not really buying. If you're not really buying it, then we can't check to see if it would go through. And I said, of course you can. And I said, you know what you do? You need somebody here who actually is a member or has a membership number. And I just want to see that person come in here and rent the spot I pick. Now, there are some inherent dangers in that. If somebody does that, you don't know if their ownership number is somehow in the computer designated as a special member of the family, salesperson number, and to make sure that whatever they ask for, they get. So that's possible. But I said, well, let's see what happens. So a woman that I don't know, a third woman, comes in, and she gives them her card that shows that she's a member. Now, somebody should have said to the first two, you aren't members? You don't own one of these timeshares? I asked to see if we can do a timeshare, rent, buy, whatever, and you have to find that woman down the hall because she's the only... I should have said that, but I did not. So here's what we did. We took her number, and she said, now, where is it you want to stay? And I thought, where is it that would be real nice today if I could rent a beautiful 2-bedroom condo there? Where would I like to be? Oh, I know. And I picked Boulder, Colorado. And I said, yes, I would like to pick a nice resort cabin in Boulder. They have those. And they said, yeah, that's got to be pretty nice there now. I said, oh, yeah, it's 115 here. I said, I'll bet it's 60 there. And then when I said that, you could see the look on their face like, yeah, I'm sure it is. So they took the number from the woman who had just brought in the card, the third woman. They put it in as my number or my ownership or whatever, and they said, here, reserve him. Here's a nice 2-bedroom for next week. And they hit go. And I watched that computer, and it came up at the bottom, not available, can't do it, goodbye. And they lied. The two women said, oh, didn't go through. Something didn't go through. Maybe your credit. And I said, my credit? I didn't give you my credit. No, that's not. They said, well, I said, let's be fair. Maybe it's too soon next week. Why don't we go 2 weeks out? Okay, go 2 weeks out, and let's see if I can rent, the end of August. Okay. So she types it in again, and this time we took, what's the other place, the skiing place that everybody goes in Colorado? Vail, there you go. So we took Vail. Okay, we'll take Vail, we'll take that one. She hits it in, comes up, no sale, no places available. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid. And so they real quickly try to change it. They take the computer and they try to change screens so that I couldn't see that. But I saw it. And I said, boy, it doesn't look like that's going too well here. It looks like it might be hard to actually put one of these into action, So I said, let's try another one. So we tried one last ski town in Colorado. I forget which one. They're all the same to me. And we said, let's try for the first week of September. Let's be fair. Let's put it out there ways, and let's just take not a real high desirability one. We'll see just a 1-bedroom condo, maybe not right there in the prime area. Okay, here's one. Right, yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's only $2,000 for a year if you want 1 week there. Okay. In other words, it takes $2,000 of your credits. You get $2,000 a year in credits, and as it would happen, this little dinky 1-bedroom condo would eat up your year's worth of credits if you decided to stay there for a week. All right, let's give it a shot. Kind of expensive. I know that sounds weird that you actually buy it for $50,000 and then every year what you get is a distribution of 2,000 credits, and you can use those any place you can find an availability. But if you don't find an ability, you don't lose them. They stack up. And now you've got 4,000 hours or units or whatever they are that you want to use. And we go back to the computer for the third and final time, and she puts in the information. Yep, Glenn wants to stay here September 2nd through the 9th. They don't take any of the 1-bedroom condos. Just pick us one, please. And she hits enter. And, of course, you and I know what happened. So the screen comes up. Oh, sorry, nothing, no availability. Yeah, go screw yourself. No. And with that, I got up. I walked out. I looked at them as I was walking out, and I said, "You're selling dreams." And out the door I went. Well, actually, they had to give me a card because I got paid to go there, but they were hoping I didn't notice that they actually were just paying me back with my own money. So I just broke even. They gave me $200 on a credit card. Well, that was because I'd already paid them $200 because they were supposed to give me a 4-night stay. So they haven't given me the 4-night stay. I've lost my $200, but they gave me $200 back. That's not good. So anyway, in other words, they're crooks. They're selling something that has no value at all or very little value. It's basically a gambling game that you're going to gamble and see, are you going to be the lucky one who comes up with the nights in Venice or not? And the greatest line I heard the whole presentation was, well, you know what? You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry because we're here to help you. So if you try to get the place you like and you don't get it, you got us. Just call us and we'll help you. That sounds real good. Yeah, you'll help me what? You'll help me wipe? What would you do? Okay, so that's why timeshares are the way they are. So let's get back to Rex. Timeshares, talking about timeshares. So very few people make money on timeshares because they are shit, and that is basically why I'm stunned if Rex really sold a $17,000 timeshare back to a business for I think it was 51,000. Really, it says 50 most places, but it was 51. Okay, now. Here's what's going on in New York. I know you're much more worried about New York, but I thought it was very interesting that we finally matched the dates. And yes, he is just a prime suspect, date-wise, in the killings of the women in Long Island. And if you remember, the first reports that came out had said that the women there were not considered his work because they weren't wrapped in burlap like the ones in Gilgo Beach. But now we know that, no, they were wrapped in a different cloth. And so that's probably what the police were keeping secret because they wanted to make sure that they knew something that only the murderer would know. And it's now gotten out that they actually were wrapped in cloth. And so they were wrapped in cloth. Same dates that he was there, pretty much. I think what they're doing now, or what I would be doing, and I'm certain it is they're looking at that first one. The first one makes or breaks the Las Vegas case. If he was in Las Vegas in the times period that first one was killed, that even though he didn't have a timeshare at that time, but if he was still in Las Vegas, coincidentally, at the period that the woman was killed in 2003, and we're talking about Ms. Kamara, he's toast. He's going to get his plate filled with another foursome, maybe a fivesome. So, very interesting here. But let's go back to what is going on in New York. Well, the police there were taking it real serious. So they said that they used the power of the grand jury. They issued over 300 subpoenas and search warrants to look into Rex's background. And as we know, it was a piece of pizza where they got the DNA that they needed to check him out. They followed him around and saw him discard a piece of pizza. But Heurmann lived in a quiet suburb not far from the beach highway where the bodies of the Gilgo Four were found. The victims' bodies were wrapped in burlap and discovered within days of each other. The women were all sex workers. Investigators say Heurmann could be connected to as many as 11 murders dating back to 2010 across 2 Long Island counties. Now, you heard that speech of the guy on TV, Rodney Harrison, Commissioner of Suffolk County Police Department. He's a demon that walks among us, a predator that has ruined family. Okay, thank you. You got your moment on TV. Now you're gonna be. Now you'll get your job on Fox News. Now, if any of you have nothing to do and you want to see a very good special on these women. Now, the special was obviously, well, not obviously, it was made before Rex was arrested or before they announced that they knew who Rex was. On Netflix, you can see, it's a free if you have Netflix. It's a special called Lost Girls, and it's really good. It takes its view from one of the mothers, from the mother of one of the killed women. And it's really good. It really goes into all the details, but what really makes it interesting, I believe, is that there is no mention in any way of anything having to do with Rex. There's nothing that even points towards his area of town, or there's nothing about the neighbors saying, hey, you know, that strip of land over there, that house and that street, they're creepy. Do not let your kids wander over there. Which should have been enough for somebody to call the police. Why? Why does that rumor go around? What is it about him that's creepy? What is it that makes people say, you know what, I'm not letting my kids anywhere near him? Well, that's the type of stuff that you should let the police know. Maybe this would have been stopped 10 years earlier. How were they able to break the case? Well, a New York State investigator identified him in a database. In March 2022, detectives linked him to a pickup truck that a witness reported seeing one of the victims went missing back in 2010. Now, in other words, a witness saw one of the women climb into a pickup truck that somehow is owned by Rex or connected to Rex. I think that means that it's his son's. After connecting Rex to the pickup, the investigators linked him to other evidence, including the burner phones used to arrange meetings with the victims. And then they linked the taunting calls that a person who claimed to be the killer made to one of the victims' families. For each of the murders, he got an individual burner phone, and he used that to communicate with the victims. Shortly after the deaths of the victims, he would then get rid of the burner phone, said Tierney. The most damning piece of evidence, though, that came in March. And that was when the detectives, who already were trailing Heurmann, recovered DNA from a pizza crust. He had discarded the pizza in a Manhattan trash can, and his DNA matched samples found on the remains of the women. Bingo! That's over. Heurmann was arrested about 3 weeks ago near his Midtown Manhattan office, I'm sorry. He decided to plead not guilty in court, and his attorney says he was in tears upon meeting him and told the attorney that he didn't do it. And this is the beginning of the case. Everybody's presumed innocent, said his public defender, I think it was, but his defense attorney, Michael Brown. No, I'm not a public defender. And the fact that he's considered the prime suspect now in the death, not only of the 4 women, but that there was one other one that was killed nearby, really. So it's going to be 5 women in New York and 4 women in Las Vegas. He will never see the world again, the outside world. And it's funny because you've all seen I mentioned this last time. You all seen the family thing where when they arrested Dad, they all come up, it couldn't be him. He's our daddy. We know him. We love. His family just walks away. No, that guy's a fucking weirdo. No, we never liked him very much either. You don't see his son, who has, I think, autism, or his daughter, who just looks like a whack job. You don't see either of them in any way defending him, questioning the evidence, anything like that. And so we'll look for that next time. But here's what I'd like you to do, and I know you're so tired of hearing people say this. If you got anything out of today, I don't want any money, just go down below, give me a thumbs up, click the thumb up, subscribe so that I'll let you know when the next one is. The next one will be next Monday. And just ring the bell so that you'll know when Monday's episode comes out. Ding, 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 ding. It'll let you know, and you'll be there. But the more you do that, the higher they rank me, and the easier it is for people to find me and find the Heurmann Murder Trial podcast, which is what you're listening to. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Monday, and have a good 5 days.